a corner kiosk. There is 1 billion shillings in this report, and there's professional responsibility. And if there are issues, we must assign responsibility and culpability to the right person. So you are saying you didn't sign, someone signed for you. Who is that person who signed the ROR for Kajiado?
Chair, if I can explain, because...
Oh, just say who it is, because you have said it is not you.
There was an officer we were training during that period.
So a trainee is the one who signed on your behalf?
Do you have the name of that trainee? What was the name of the trainee?
Because members, when these happen, you'll find that the reality is that the professional perhaps didn't want to append their signature for some reasons.
Chair, let them tell us. I don't know, what is so difficult, Governor? What is so difficult in us getting a clear answer? Who signed the document? There is a signature there, there is a number given.
Yes. I've just cross-checked. Sorry, can I go ahead?
Maybe, Chair, as the Governor answers, we should tell where is Vera Mora?
Vera is a fair lady sitting at the back.
Yes, but do you have ISPAC? Are you ISPAC? You account the receiver revenue?
We have 2 people who signed. That is the receiver of revenue. I signed. Then the documents are forwarded for submission to the Department of Finance, the accountancy team. So I have signed on my part.
This is the report of the receiver of revenue. This is your report, Vera.
Yes. Yes,
so it cannot be that you forwarded it and someone signed it. It is your report.
I own that I signed on my part. We sit in different offices, so the team from the accountant, the head of accountant team signed.
And your ISPAC number?
So who is that person? Because Majakuzi has denied, Pulei has denied, Alex has denied. So who?
I have cross-checked, Chair, and let me ask Alex Play to show up for himself. There are 2 plays here. I made Alex Play the one who signed or the one whose signature appears here. So can you, Alex, come to the fore? Just stand and respond.
Please, let's dispense with this. We have more important things in the report.
Yes, it is true, Honorable Chair. We prepared the report at the Revenue Office and we submitted for signing, as Director General has said, at the Office of Accounting. And
what we are looking for is the person who signed, please. Just that. The person who signed for Pulei, because it's written here 4, and then there's some funny signature there. Who is it? Who scribbled this signature on the report?
Chair.
Senator Dula.
Chair, I just want to ask whether the receiver of revenue was officially appointed as receiver of revenue. Because if she has been officially appointed, she cannot hand it over to somebody else.
Even if she forwarded it, it needs to come back to her because it is her report.
But Chair, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't I hear the receiver of revenue saying she signed the report first?
Yes. Her signature is on the report. Her signature is on the report.
Yeah.
But the more important one is the one with professional responsibility.
Oh.
The member of ISPAC. Because if there are issues here that we need to refer to ISPAC, if we refer member number 17884, he says this was signed 4.
Yeah, then he's the one to take responsibility. If someone signs a letter for Sifuna, it's Sifuna who takes responsibility.
I mean, he's basically saying it is a trainee who signed. Is that your submission? That it was a person you are training who signed for you? Alex, are you the one who signed for this gentleman?
So as Alex takes the mic, the financial statements were prepared. If maybe you can explain those casting errors due to the training, because Alex.
No, leave alone the casting errors.
You have gone to something else.
Vice Chair, maybe I'm asking.
No, the point is the receiver of revenue was supposed to sign these statements, but somebody signed on the behalf. So where was that person? And so who signed on behalf? That is the question I think the chair is asking.
Chair,
ROR signed. Head of revenue reporting is supposed to be Pulei, but someone signed for him.
Which means he's aware because it says for head of revenue reporting. That's
Chair.
Pulei. Which means Pulei knows where the person is.
Possibly, Chair, what is the confusion here is that there are two Puleis. And the two Puleis are the men seated side by side. So the Pulei name is probably what is confusing. There is a Ken Pulei whose number appears there.
What is the number of the other Pulei?
And Alex Pulei, who signed for the other. So the confusion of Pulei, we probably can resolve by saying Alex and Ken. And both of them have come to record there, Mr. Chairman.
So what is Alex's CPN ISPAC number?
I don't have an ISPAC number. I'm not registered.
And you feel you have the authority to sign on behalf of a professional, a member of a regulated profession? Senior counsel, can I...
See, you know, that's a very serious professional offense. We should begin by citing... You said this is Alex. Are you the one?
Yes.
And professionally, can you sign a document when you don't have the capacity professionally to sign? That's a professional misconduct from your part. Were you told to sign or you made a conscious decision to sign? You are not qualified. Do you agree you are not qualified to sign the document?
No, I'm not qualified to sign it.
So why did you sign? Why did you sign?
So Chair, why was he delegated to sign in the first place? Where was the head of the accounting? Was he out of the country?
Yeah, because we want to understand whether Ken owns this report. We have dealt with 46 other ROR reports. And when this happens, it usually happens when the professional knows that there are serious problems, that if they were to append their signature, they are going to be hanged. That tends to be the case.
Because they are both here, Chair. That question you asked might get us out of this puddle. Let him answer. Ken.
Ken, can you come to own up the report?
The report was signed on your behalf. Do you own it so that we can ask questions directed at you or not?
Yes, I can own the report.
Not you can.
Use a proper language. Just say the report is your report.
Is it your report?
You know, there's an offense for cooking
accounts. Ken, it is either yes or no. You must go on record so that it helps us to navigate the issues that we are going to deal with.
At this point, I think Ken needs to take the oath.
Yes.
Because, Governor, it is very unfair.
I think, Chair, with your permission, Ken owns the report.
Well, he has declined to affirm that.
And you stand, Ken, and decline?
Governor, do not intimidate my witnesses.
It's clearly not, it's not intimidation, Chair.
These witnesses are now the property of the Senate, so don't intimidate them. I think he must be having some reason for that body language, leave alone what he's saying. I mean, we can read his body language.
Chair, I want the report.
Sorry?
Chair, with all due respect. No, he can't own the report because he didn't append his signature.
And delegated to an unqualified person.
Where is a document to show that he has delegated to his junior?
Chair, you want
then the written submission to that effect.
You are looking for somebody to hang. You have somebody you can hang professionally. No. He has owned the report.
I think also,
Chair,
he will take responsibility. People
I agree with Senator Sifuna.
Just a minute, Chair. Okay. People sign letters on my behalf all the time. If somebody scribbles for Sifuna, if I say that is my letter, then you hang me. You wanted somebody to hang, you have a scalp there. Take that scalp, Chair.
Chair, I agree.
Of course, the question would be, why would Ken Pulei be earning a salary as head of revenue reporting and then not do one of the most basic things that he's supposed to do?
Correct.
If you look at the Public Audit Act, it empowers Parliament to recommend. What does it empower us to recommend? Because this could be one of the first cases where we are recommending sanctions or removal from office of a county officer for gross professional misconduct. Senator Lelegwe, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Chair, clearly I've seen, even as we find out who signed this report, but you can see from page 1 to 2, 3, the signature does not look the same. It looks different. And even the name Pulei is written at page 3 with an L. So maybe we can get this Pulei L, who assigned for the head of revenue.
Chair, I think also we don't need to waste this issue. He has won the report, and what happens now, you know, Chair, it's also professional misconduct not to do your job or relict your job. So since he delegated, by the way, out of curiosity, he has not told us the reason why he delegates the signature. Yet it is his responsibility, the county government of Kajiado pay him salary to do the job. So I think, Chair, since he has agreed, we can hang him. But now we cannot hang him alone, we can hang him with an accomplice. You know, even Jesus Christ was not hung alone. He had some accomplices to escort him. So
there were 2 thieves on either side.
Yes.
Chair, but can you sign for someone and indicate a professional number, that, like ISPAC number?
I think we have taken the advice of former president of the Law Society of Kenya. The accountancy profession is regulated just like the legal profession. And I think what Senator Morgan has said is a fact.
And the former chair of USCC.
Former chair of USCC, that this is gross professional misconduct. So can we go to the substantive issues and see whether we can get a few explanations, honorable members?
We're going to revisit this issue, Chair, because this is quite, unprofessional.
Yes, we could look at, because in our earlier brief, there were about 2 or 3 issues that captured our attention. And Governor, that's why we asked ourselves who prepared these financial statements. And I think county officers, please don't feel intimidated. What we are doing here is like surgery. And for you to do surgery, some pain could be felt, some blood could be spilled. So do not take it personally. These are issues of professional responsibility and constitutional responsibility on the part of the Senate. Now, Governor, let's then go to the report of the receiver of revenue, even though there are all those doubts. Could you help us understand why there was a drop in revenue in the financial year members, which lines were those that you had cited?
Chair,
CES, I think starting with CES. So, Governor, in that financial year, your collections on CES reduced by about 5 or 6 million. How is this explained in an economy that is growing? Secondly, your advertising fees reduced by almost 17 million. And thirdly, conservancy administration reduced by 33 million. What is the explanation, Governor?
I'm trying, Chair, to look from the report I have where you are we in 1.1, statement of receipts and disbursements, or where are we, Chair?
Yes, statement of receipts and disbursements for the year ended 30th June 2024. The first row on CES.
Yes, yes, Chair.
You are seeing a drop there?
Yes, I've seen the variances of single business permits and all that. Says, Chair, the management acknowledges the discrepancies noted in the statement of receipts and disbursements for the financial year 2023-2024, particularly in relation to cooperative balances and carry forward figures. And I respond, Chair, for one, the variances in comparative balances on our own source revenue, the variances of 5.8 million on single business permits, and the 5 million for parking fees, contributing to the total loan source revenue discrepancy of 10 million 894,837 were due to classification differences in the recording of revenue at the year end, and distribution licenses fees were misclassified, which was corrected. Management has ensured correct classification of our own source revenue chair items to ensure correct presentation of the financial statements in future. Below chair, distribution licenses transactions done in the system for the year of the financial year 2024-2025 provided for current audit as per Appendix 1 logs of distribution licenses transactions classified as business permits. That is what had occasioned the variances, Mr. Chairman.
I think you have addressed the global issues. The issues raised by the Auditor General, the Auditor General tells us you have responded in a manner that explains what they had raised.
Yes.
But what the committee is raising was not raised by the Auditor General, but it is in your financial statements. So if you look at that line on cess alone, cess is a big contributor to your own source revenue, contributing almost 14–15%. How did cess drop in that financial year?
With your permission, Chair, let me ask the head of revenue, Vera, to give more support to the statement I have made.
Yeah, so Vera, just address the specific lines. We have taken note of what the governor has already said on single business permits.
Thank you, Chair. I think what the governor has explained actually partially answers that question. We didn't have a drop per se, but there was an issue of misclassification. The amount meant for cess was misclassified because we had a system challenge where we didn't have an auto reconciliation so that every revenue stream is well accounted for, but we were able to give the information to the Auditor General.
The Constitution requires the Senate to review the report of the Auditor General, so giving the information to the OAG is not enough. Parliament can ask questions. So what was the actual performance of cess in that financial year?
Chair, I just wanted to ask whether there is a problem with the system, because if the system is
Our sales mostly comes from the market fees, and other sales comes from the different...
market fees is a different stream at 21 million. I thought cess is cess. How can cess be misclassified as something else?
Senator debunk theory. Now, so do you want also to say parking fees is affected by weather? Because I can see there was an increase of 4 million. What is the implication? Because I thought the vehicles that bring produce to the market have increased your parking fees, and I think registration fees, reserve monthly toll fees, and all these pass park fees and others have increased by 4 million.
Yeah, so can we...
What is the relationship?
Governor, are you able to tell the people who you collect cess from in Kajiado, are you able to explain to them why you registered 6 million less? Does the explanation from your receiver of revenue satisfy you as a CEO?
I think... Yeah, can I finish so that the governor can,
yes,
can pick it so that you answer both? If you look even at market fees through your hour, nothing has changed. In fact, it is 21,635,928 in the previous year, and then 21 million in the subsequent year.
Go to advertising.
So then I go to advertising. The difference, there is a big 18 million drop. So maybe, I don't know whether, now the receiver of revenue is saying whether. So I don't know what happens to the posters and advertising during dry season.
Let's have
Can I also add? I just wanted to understand what are these county assets that you hire out? Because the previous financial year you made 6.7. This financial year 2023-2024, it dropped down to 3 million. And then what explains this very wide disparity in conservancy administration, where there is a difference of more than 32 million shillings? Chair.
Yes, Governor?
I have the county CC for finance here. Let me have his input, Chair, please, with your permission.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I will take up the first one on the cess. First, I wish to make a bit of an explanation of what constitutes cess for us. It is essentially revenues that you collect on barriers where a big chunk of it is cess from natural resources, especially sand, for Kajiado, especially sand. The instances where you have certain drops is, and why my receiver of revenue, the director of revenue, was indicating an issue of seasonal in terms of rain season and certain instances. This sand is collected essentially from rivers. Trucks go into the river, and on certain occasion where you have certain weather condition, particularly it coincides with the rain season, essentially it drop, the tracking of that sand drop. So that in some certain instances that usually contribute to a reduction in the collection that we are able to do on that cess. It is one component because you have other materials that are transported across those barriers as well that we collect cess, but a big chunk of it is from the natural resources, that is the sand. So the instance of where you have sudden drop and it coincides to the weather is because where we collect where these materials are collected. Yes.
Have you read this report? Have you read your report? If you look at note 1 that explains cess, because what you're explaining is here. You didn't even need to say too much. Note 1 has got a breakdown on cess. Your biggest drop is on transit. It is not rivers and seasons. It is transit. This is money collected from people on the road. There is a difference of 9 million. So can you give us a more serious explanation? Because note 1 here has got farm produce, quarrying, livestock, bed occupancy, and transit. And the biggest drop is transit. Not river, not sand. Are you collecting money from truck drivers and pocketing? Senator Kajiado.
Maybe, I think you're right, Chair. And the county really needs to explain quite well. Because as you can see from cess, we have bed occupancy. For 2023-2024, we have an increase of 7.5 million. That makes, which they didn't have before.
Yes.
And a difference in farm produce of 9 million. 4 million, a difference of 4 million with quarry. So this means there is nothing concerning issues of weather here. It's nothing, because what about quarry? Do you need to have good weather to have quarry? I don't think so. So I think the CC Finance needs to explain well, and even we are not even in advertisement. We are just in this one first point of cess. So I think they need to explain, because I think it is only either system problems or something else.
So I think the county needs to explain it well, rather than just trying to have many words. Governor, you just need to say, possibly this is a system problem, or there are no, submission of cash in the roll blocks. Possibly that is the problem within the county. Otherwise, the figures indicate that there is a problem, which is
Governor,
a problem.
Do you get a feeling that someone is stealing from you?
Chair, that's a difficult feeling because...
You don't get that feeling? Okay, then let's go to advertising. let's go to advertising and we get an explanation.
And even before we go to advertising, I want to debunk what the CC is saying, that when there is rain, there is less sand collected. That is not true. When there is rain, then there is more sand available. When there is drought, there is no sand. So don't say that because of too much rain, we collected less sand. No. There's more sand when there is rain.
I think let's go to other things that are not affected by climate change. Advertising. Governor.
Correct, yeah, thank you.
Advertising, because that one you can claim climate change and all that. Advertising, you had a drop of almost 20 million. How do you explain that? Climate change?
Chair, outside climate change, and to not make a very serious issue a joke, because it is not. Advertising really is consumed by farms depending on what they want to push. While we are saying the economy is growing, Chair, there could be figures to justify that, but we also know as Kenyans that there is a very depressed economy. In fact, the ability of taxpayers in many instances.
Governor, let me just help you.
Thank you.
We've got the breakdown here. We've got a note that breaks down your streams under advertising. And probably you are referring to billboard advertising. One of your biggest drops is on signage. And I do not think that signages would be plucked out at the end of a financial year. Signage is something that is fairly, it's not affected by the economy. If you had 29 million in terms of signage revenue last year, chances are you'll achieve the same in the following year, isn't it? Unless there were, am I making sense, Governor? How does signage revenue drop by 9 million? Is it 9 million? It's 11. It's 11 million. How does it drop by 11 million?
Yeah, while I want to comment that instances where farms have signage and are unable to pay also exist, but I think it will be helpful to listen from the Director of Revenue what is happening on the ground so that we can get a true feel of what is happening. But there is a possibility that a farm could have a signage and sometimes they are not able to pay. Even they go under with their signages left hanging out there. But I think a more technical answer may come from, or should come from, the officer responsible for that. And again, we will go back to the revenue director.
That's why we started by finding out who owns this report.
Correct.
Because there are serious issues.
Fortunately, the Director of Revenue owned it, she has signed. And I want also to concur that really even Ken Play owned it, because it's not coercion, it's a fact that he's a person responsible for this, and that is why his PAC number is there.
So let's allow
but let's hear Vera, who is the head of revenue,
the 11 million drop on signage alone, leave alone advertising globally.
Chair, I still want to go back to the question I asked. Is your system 100% automated? Because that could be where the problem is.
Governor?
On the question of the automation, yes, our system is automated. Our revenue collection system, we have automated it. And so the answer is yes, Madam.
So, Senator Lelegwe, you're there?
No, Chair, on a different issue.
Or we deal with the signage first and then you come in?
Okay.
Vera, please come on
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Chair. I'll actually like to say that we had a challenge in signage, but during that particular year, we changed our system to a unified business permit. I think we gave information that part of the money that is under business permit, single business permit, is money that was invoiced together with signage fee. So there's an amount that is supposed to be under signage fee that is captured under single business permit because of the trying to have a unified business permit. But again, we have a team of taxpayers who actually are unable to pay. And in most cases, what we do during compliance checks is actually pluck off the signages. And there are others who are completely unable to pay, looking at the economic times, they opt to pay for a business permit and not pay for a single business, for a signage.
Members, does that make sense?
I don't agree with that. I think it doesn't make sense. There is something called nonsense. Chair, my own opinion, maybe we can find out. Maybe I don't see our Kibet. What is our revenue? What is the revenue potential of Kajiado County?
Let me check with the Chair.
Yeah, so please, if those indicators, Chair, you need to protect me. Senator Kataya is distracting me when I'm handling serious matters of national importance. Maybe he has been sent by my political enemies to finish me.
Do not share non-parliamentary images in a serious business.
Correct.
Yeah,
you should
proceed.
stay there where you used normally to sit. So my question is, Governor, you have said your systems are automated, all of them. What about this says? Because if you are telling us the issue of sand, for example, if I can use the explanation by your CCM, so what does it mean? Do you have cess points where when the lorries come into, because you are saying it is automated, can you demonstrate that this 18 million, for example, Chair, where signages, for example, that are full of 18 million, if they are automated, then they know if it is Moses that was paying for this signage, it is easy to follow up on the payment of such. So the question is, if the system is system proof or there are no leakages, Governor, we should be having we should not be having a drop of 18 million in this note number 7 on advertising, because you know where these people are. So is it the enforcement officers or the people who collect your revenue colluding by pocketing this difference of 18 million? Thank you, Chair.
Senator, maybe Chair, from the receiver of revenue, if they believe that they have tagged or even attached the business permit with the signage, then that can be satisfactory, Chair, because it seems like there is an increase of almost 31 million from the annual business permit fee. So if they have tagged the same, then that is possibly satisfactory.
So instead of dealing with hypothetical situations, let's just deal with the facts. But Senator Legwe, you had an observation on something?
Yes, Chair, on a different issue, I wanted to ask the Governor, I'm surprised Kajiado County is not reporting anything on park fees. And when you turn to page 14 of the Receiver of Revenue report, under note 15, we've seen lodge tariffs and levies, park fees, filming and photography, camping fees, balloon, all reporting zero revenues for the 2 financial years. I don't know, maybe the Governor can tell the committee why that line is reporting zero in the 2 financial years.
Yes,
Chair,
Governor Clark?
With your permission, the revenue potential for Kajiado as per CRA is 6.8 billion.
6.8 billion?
Yes, Chair.
And here we have 1.1 billion?
Yes, Chair.
Actually 1.0. If you remove hospital fees, it's practically 700 million. Governor, on park fees, which is at zero?
Chair, Kajiado County has one national park called Amboseli. As it is now, it is under the national government as gazetted area, protected area, and so it is not under the county. So there will be no possibility of the county collecting park fees.
So even from lodges, there are no lodges within the county where you collect, because there's a sub-description of lodge tariffs and levies.
Fall under a different title, but the lodges in the park, being a gazetted area and being a KWS area, is not under us. Probably, Chair, you have had the conversation where the Man Nation petitioned the President on Amboseli, and that petition is progressing well, but it's not happened as yet. So what will be fees will just be like fees coming from other, licenses, as you heard of the unified permits, but not anything to do with the current situation or current status of the national park until it become a national reserve or until that historical injustice is corrected. The figures will continue to be zero.
Okay, I think that's been in the public domain. Members, let's come back to conservancy administration,
but
where there's also a big variance of
just a minute. I think the bed occupancy also, Chair, Governor, is part of the money that you get from the hotels. So that will help to answer the question of 15 parking fees. That is the money that you get from tourism.
The county collects a bed fee?
Yeah, bed
from the,
and that is why they
from the national parks?
Yeah.
So, Governor, why is that not reflected anywhere here?
It's reflected. They have collected 7.5.
Where is it?
It's
under?
Assess.
Under assess?
Yes.
Okay. Senator, you seem to have better explanation than the county executive.
I was a county secretary for 2 counties.
I hope you're not conflicted.
No, Chair,
come and assess.
Chair, but you have to appreciate that he's the incoming governor, so he must be ahead of himself.
Yeah, so I think that's an important information. Let's come back to conservancy administration. You collected 64 million. Prior year, you collected 97 million. What is the explanation? Note 12.
Let me ask Director Revenue as I try and peruse this document. Director Revenue, go ahead.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Chair. I think our census is the one that is classified as conservancy fees. And that's where we had, during that financial year, we had a lot of drought and we were unable to collect sand fees. And most of our clients, because of the different charges that we have in Kajiado and Machakos and our neighboring makwiny, they opted to go to the neighboring counties because our finance bill, the figures of payments were a bit higher. So we lost them. At the same time, we had an issue of drought.
So that's the explanation you have under conservancy administration. Now, Governor,
that doesn't make a lot of meaning. What do you collect exactly under conservancy administration? How does the stream look like? What do you collect? How do you collect it? What do you collect?
What is sand? Through the chair, we have sand harvesting in Kajiado County. So if you look at it as conservancy, it might be tricky. You might think it's about the parks and everything, but it's sand. Yeah.
The conversation you have had in the last 1 hour, Governor, should prompt you to have a serious review of your revenue management and reporting processes. Because we have started our conversation by trying to establish professional responsibility, and you have seen how the conversation has gone. Figures should, explain themselves. If we have to use so much English to explain why numbers are shifting, then people could be creative with words. I have this feeling, and my colleagues have this feeling, that you are collecting but not reporting. And that is the definition of theft. And I want the Auditor General to ask these questions. I think it's not supposed to be for the Senate to ask these questions and then we get an oral narrative. You need to ask these questions because they are very, very clear variances that must be explained, that must find a way for the explanation to be documented. And I'm going to ask that as you are doing your current audit, please have a critical look at the ROR, because many a times we just brush through the ROR. But this is 1 billion shillings, potentially 6 billion. In fact, if you collected 6 billion, you would not need Nairobi every time when there are delays in exchequer releases. I'm sure you probably may not have even paid your salaries. But you have the capacity to collect 6 billion. But if you're going to collect 6 billion through this porous governance structure that you have, then half of it is going to end up in people's pockets. So I think we will ask the OAG to do a proper, thorough audit on this. And if we find similar doubts in the next report, we will be asking the EACC to conduct an investigation. Because if you collect from people and you pocket, that is theft. OAG.
Chair, that is well noted. On the variance size, I wish to state that we normally have a work paper whereby we always question if there's any big variance from the previous year to the current year, and we normally note it down. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, honorable members, can we...
Chair, can the governor comment on the revenue potentials of Kajiado County? We've heard from the KRA, they're saying 6 billion in one financial year, and the county is only reporting 1-point-something billion.
Governor?
May I? Okay.
Do you agree with that figure?
We have heard of that potential. I want to say that under my administration, the revenue, on-source revenue in Kajiado had steadily grew from a mere 250, 400 million to a billion. And therefore, while that potential is allegedly put across, it is important for me to say we are all determined to make sure that we tap into the potential we have. But Senator Elegwe, we have steadily grew from much smaller figures as we try to figure out what is this potential being said. So we want again to commit that we are determined to do whatever it takes to make sure that our own source revenue continue to grow. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, that question, if we could go to your answer, because the Auditor General has queried it under long outstanding revenue. I think it's a substantive issue in this report. So maybe we could look at what your formal response was.
Correct.
But Senator Maruma, you can...
Yeah, I just wanted to question the governor on the status of implementation of the downgrading of Amboseli. Because when I look at the revenue projections by CRA, they could be premised on revenues or projected revenues from Amboseli National Park if it becomes then a game reserve. What is the actual status of that downgrading?
I think, Chair, downgrading is probably not the correct word to put. Here we are saying...
Or reclassification.
Yeah, what we are saying, Chair, is that historically until mid-70s, Amboseli, Mara and Samburu were all national reserves. Through a presidential decree, Amboseli was wrongly classified to be made a national park. What the people of Kajiado are petitioning or petitioned, and is being confirmed to be their correct position, is that Amboseli's status is a national reserve and not a national park. Mara, which is a national game reserve, continued to be the icon of our Kenyan tourism and a key revenue mover. So it will not downgrade. We are determined to make Amboseli what it should rightly be, a third-generation park. A third-generation park is something that considers community livelihoods, the game reserves, and the ecosystem itself. The current position of a national park protects wildlife with total disregards to the communities that are protecting or that are living side by side with this wildlife. So we're just saying it needs to be properly classified, but the status will not be a downgrade in any way.
Where are we? Where are we exactly?
Oh, where we are. In 2024, August, in Masai Mara, the president pronounced himself that this historical injustice need to be corrected. he set in motion through a national task force to look into that petition. The task force, citizen participation confirmed that Amboseli need to revert to a national game reserve. So there has been a lot of stakeholders involved, engagement, but citizen participation. It is now at the tail end. You probably saw, Honorable Senator, that Cabinet confirmed or passed that that status need to be corrected. So we are now waiting for that Cabinet resolution to be implemented and Amboseli correctly positioned or classified. Thank you.
Which I think it's a position that we would support. I mean, I also have Ruma National Park in Homa Bay, which they have Savo, which I would be happy if it was to reclassify to revert to the county, because you have said Masai Mara is run by the county, and yet it is still run very well. So someone should not argue that reclassifying it back to the county would be
downgrade. It's not, yeah.
Okay, so what?
So, Chair,
but beyond that, you have revenue arrears of 11 billion, and I think that's one thing the Auditor General reported on. So, as Senator Cherargei asks his question, we will go to that issue, and you'll tell us what you're doing about it.
Chair, finally, Governor, so how long are you still waiting for the handover of the national park? And I hope, have you agreed on both in case of liabilities, who will shoulder? Because we have seen cases where when there is transfer, the national government might want to transfer assets by liabilities. So have you agreed on the issue of liabilities so that you don't inherit something that might also become a problem or a burden to the running of the county? And how far is it? I thought that matter had been sorted. Was it between you and Narok that the handing over was supposed to be done? Thank you.
Governor?
Chair, with your permission, after the Cabinet resolution that Amboseli should revert to the county, and after the submission of the National Task Force on the transition of Amboseli from the national government to the county government, we have completed all the processes that were necessary to effect that transition. So we believe anytime now, Chair, that the gazettement of the transfer is going to happen. We in our meetings, we gave October as the outside of that type. So we believe in October that process will be complete, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. So let's look at your uncollected revenue, long outstanding revenue. OAG, what was your observation? And then we consider the governor's response.
Thank you, Chair. We did say that it's only 3 million that has been recovered so far. So we felt that is too
Actually,
low.
just read your finding. Get the governor's response.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, so we are transitioning.
Page 17.
We are transitioning into the executive report.
Your certificate is page
7.
Okay, proceed.
I read. Long outstanding revenue. As reported in the previous year, review of the debt and aging analysis provided for audit reflects revenue in arrears of Kenya shillings 11,984,425,260 owed by several debtors, which comprise of uncollected land rent, rates, and royalties. However, management did not explain measures put in place to collect this outstanding revenue. Further, the county government of Kajiado management, through the Department of Finance, Planning, and ICT, contracted a service provider to collect revenue on its behalf. However, no evidence was provided for the progress made in recovery of the outstanding debts by the contracted service provider. In the circumstances, absence of a clear, actionable plan for collection of revenue, collection of arrears, the collection of land rent, rates, and royalties arrears could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was your response?
Thank you, Chair. We wish to respond that the county government has implemented several measures to collect revenues in areas, and I wish to explain one, payment plans. We offered flexible payment plans to help debtors settle their own arrears over time without financial risk or strain. The legal action we have pursued through legal avenues to recover our debts, including the issuance of summons or court orders from non-compliance. And on collaboration and financial institutions, in partnering with the banks and financial institutions to facilitate easier payment options for residents. Strengthened enforcement, increasing the capacity of our revenue enforcement officers following up on outstanding payments. Annexed to this report, Chair, is court documents on the Tata Magadi Chemical, who owe the county government of Kajiado 10.5 billion. I wish, Chairman, to put that emphasis that out of the 11 billion in question, 10.5 billion is owed by Magadi Soda, and we are expecting any time a determination by the court. In the first round before the appeal, the county won the case in court, and therefore, Chairman, we want to confirm that that is really where the bulk of the issue is, and it's in public domain that the county and Magadi have that tussle in court. With regard to the regional business collection limited,
maybe, Governor, since this is 87.5% of your debtors book,
correct?
Maybe you could just help us understand what is the issue.
Yes, it is, Chair. Magadi, Tata Chemicals Magadi, for a long time was paying counties peanuts for what will be land rates. In fact, let me emphasize to say that this company has been in that space for over 100 years. And when we passed our revenue, what do you call this, Finance Act, to put Magadi soda into the same land rates like everybody else. You know, previously they will say per acre we pay 50 shillings. So when we say everybody else is paying 1,200 per acre, they went to court. In the first court ruling, the court ruled that the finance bill was validly passed and Magadi was to comply. Magadi, the High Court said we go to arbitration. We went to arbitration and Magadi Soda lost at arbitration. So they went to the Court of Appeal. So this is a company that is outrightly refusing to pay taxes or levies to counties, refusing to recognize the county, trying to get the same law, County Government Act with regards to levies and taxes. And so that is what the story is. And we believe...
it's not royalties, it's rates on land.
Rates on land rates. Okay. This is land rates.
So the 10.5 has accumulated over the years or since the passage of that Finance Act?
Since the passage of that Finance Act. Because these people occupy a whole ward. They have land more than 400,000 acres. The whole ward belongs to them. Even the people who are living there just live at their mercy. It's a complete historical injustice as well.
What is the status of Tata Magadi Chemicals? It's a private,
it's a private company.
Limited,
it's a private mining company.
Private.
They mine Magadi or soda ash.
So if you look at two perspectives, does it increase the cost of doing business in Kajiado when there is a Finance Act that imposes high rates on land? There's that element, but then there's also the element of justice. How do you balance between the two?
To arrive at the land rates that we charge on every land owner in Kajiado, it is out of citizen participation, and we will not consider it as, excess. It is really what everybody is paying in Kajiado. But here is a company, a big money mover, that is refusing to comply with the law. And so it does not increase the cost of doing business. But I agree that is also a question of historical injustice. That one company occupies a whole ward. And in Kajiado, a ward is equivalent to some counties because it's so vast land. So the county even made the offer to tell these people, why don't you surrender the grazing land and you just occupy the lake where there is trona? Trona is the soda ash
disclosure of pending bills. Annex 2 to the financial statements reflects nil pending accounts payables. However, prior year disclosure under Annex 2 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 1,197,584,070, resulting in non-disclosure of pending accounts payables. In addition, review of the report on the status of the county pending bills reveals that the county had pending bills totaling to Kenya shillings 2,290,313,208, which comprise of development and recurrent expenditure of Kenya shillings 1,531,450,134 and Kenya shillings 758,863,074 respectively. Management has not amended the financial statements to reflect the pending payables in the annexes. Failure to settle bills during the year to which they relate distorts the financial statements and adversely affects the budgetary provisions for the subsequent year as they form the first charge. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, we had a recommendation there which was fairly detailed, so
Yes.
we'll read it.
The management wished to mention that by the time of preparing the financial statements for the financial year 2023-2024, which was submitted to the auditor by 30th of September 2024, our pending bills report was still being analyzed and reviewed by pending bills committee. The pending bills report has since been finalized and submitted to the relevant authorities, including Control of Budgets and Office of the Auditor General, and we have attached Annex 3 to that effect. The management has taken note that this non-disclosure and the same will be rectified subsequently by disclosing the financial statements as recommended by the Auditor General and as guided by the financial statements reporting template. What Chair we are saying here is that as at the time when the audits were going on, our audit committee had not completed their work. That is why we did not make the disclosure, but we have since made for the forthcoming audit that is ongoing in the county. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Auditor General, is disclosure of pending bills a suggestion or it is a requirement?
Chair, it's a requirement.
Governor, what do you say to that? Because you treated it as if it was just a suggestion. You owe people money. In the financial statements, it is not clear how much you owe. That cannot be a financial statement that represents a true and fair picture of the entity when the debts are not disclosed.
Chair, I agree with you. However, I'm saying at the time of reporting, our pending bills committee was still doing their work. So that not to do or not to report incorrectly, we allowed them to do their work, and that has since happened. We have since, in the forthcoming accounts, made the full disclosure of the pending bills, Mr. Chairman.
Who's the accountant between the two people on your left and right?
The accountant is Majakusi.
Majakuzi?
Yes.
Disclosure of pending bills, is it a suggestion or it is an important requirement?
It is an important requirement.
So?
Well, Chair, as the Governor has said...
Even on the excuses, you are a ISPAC member.
Yes.
So what is your professional responsibility when it comes to reporting?
Full disclosure.
Was this full disclosure in the absence of accounts payable?
It wasn't, and the reason is any disclosure...
You go to excuses, you agree it was not...
It wasn't, yes, I agree.
Remember, Governor, that this is not the only county you are dealing with. There are 46 other counties. None of them has ever brought that kind of excuse. Because even though there is a verification going on, there you can take a view on what has been verified, or what is, we call them eligible. Yeah, what's the word that they've been using? Ineligible and eligible. What your accountants ought to have done as a minimum, because you cannot say that the entire year you didn't know who you owed money. Because in that year, you are contracting services, isn't it? So even for the ones contracted in that year, you didn't know, you could not disclose them. This is professional negligence before we get into the other associated criminal offenses as per the law. I mean, this is the first county that has told us that they could not disclose their pending bills. You are the first one. Your other 46 colleagues, even though they are going through verification, at least their finance people are able to present a listing of what is verifiable. And then again, Governor, this was your 7th year in office. Why would you have that kind of problem that after 7 years, your people cannot tell you with authority that these are the people we owe? What is the problem?
Chairman, I agree with you that there is a professional negligence on this, and there is administrative action that needs to be taken. And so I concur that it is a matter requiring administration action, which I will take. And so I want to confirm that in the previous years there were disclosures to that effect, and now we have made the changes to reflect that. But I wish to agree that it is unacceptable.
Part of our recommendation was a payment plan to be submitted to the control of budget. And I'm looking at the schedule you have provided. The first entry is a classroom at Sumeria Primary School, a contract of 2014-2015 of 1.49 million. What we are interested in is what is your plan to settle those pending bills? Because your senator and the rest of us have already passed money to go to the county. Why are you not using that money to pay these things from 2014-2015? Because I'm assuming that what you have here is what is now verified. So what's a payment plan? What's a plan? We need to hear how this number is moving. We need to hear that out of your 2 billion, you have now paid probably 1 billion. And whatever is remaining, this is a plan for settlement. I think that's a solution we want to get from here, beyond what we have said about professional responsibility. Now let's go to the solution.
Chair, the reported previous year pending bills were fully captured in our accounting. And we have, as a county government, in the previous year and even this year, provided a substantial amount of money to make sure that we clear for these pending bills. We know that this is an important obligation to the county government. And as part of our budgeting process, we have provided a substantial amount to pay the pending bills. Chair, we continue to work to enhance our own source revenue so that we increase resources coming to the county to be able to pay for our pending bills. And so, Chair and committee, we have provided resources to continuously minimize our pending bills and to ensure that subsequently we collect sufficient resources so that we do not incur additional pending bills from the previous that have been now.
But Governor, if you would have read our recommendation, then you would have seen that you needed to come here with a documented payment plan, not the narration, not just the listing.
Yeah. Vice Chair, looking at Annexure 3, the title of that document is written, the sentence there is enclosed therein, please find our Kajiado County Executive pending bills report for the financial year 23-24 and the payment plan for the pending bills during the year 24-25 for necessary action. Maybe you need to point us to that second part, the payment plan.
The payment plan.
Where does it begin from? And number 2, Chair, I'm looking at page 7 of that same annexure and wondering why, Governor, if you look at number 17, proposed construction and renovation works at Kimana Dispensary. If at all that work was done, was Kimana Dispensary finally done? The amount paid is 6.07 million. What is still owed is 3.9 million. The next one is model laboratory at Masimba Secondary School. Was it done? That is in 2017, 2018. I think you are still governor. A contract amount 4.9 million, paid 3.9 million, not paid 1.49 million. Why didn't you pay this really? 2018 is so long a time. It's long ago. Why can't you pay this contract 1.5 million? If that work was done well and the lab is in use. And so I think what we need, Chair, is a payment plan that our pending bills are 1 billion. And so in this financial year, the budget would be 200 million. And this 200 million would be used to pay these pending bills. Then for the subsequent financial year, we'll maybe plan for another 200 million, and these are the pending bills that you plan to pay. But this really, unless you show us the payment plan, I don't think it's here.
Is there a payment plan here?
Chair, we have provided for in this financial year.
Sorry, Governor, do we have, as the Senator has rightly stated, your letter says find, attach the payment plan for pending bills. That was our recommendation, that you come up with a payment plan. So do we have a payment plan before the Senate?
Chair, thank you so much. The report that is here as annex is the report that we had submitted to the control of budget, and we submitted this report together with the payment plan. What we had shared with
you are the signatory to this letter, forwarding letter?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, so what we expected, if you read our recommendation, we had a long recommendation. We would have expected you'd come to the Senate and tell us that of our 2 billion pending bills, this is what we have paid, this is the balance, and this is how we plan to pay in the next quarters. You know, if you don't do that, then what you have brought here is just data without information.
Yes, Chair, I agree with the recommendation as well stated. But if you look today, I'm sure our pending bill report currently now is not reflecting some of the projects that are listed here. If we had shared the updated one,
I'm sure someone here has the numbers. Please, we must leave this Senate knowing that out of your 2 billion, has it grown or has it reduced? We must come out of here with a number. So can someone look at that number so that it goes on record that you're making progress? Because if it remains at 2 billion, then why should the CS Treasury continue releasing money to Kajiado if money is coming and it's not used to settle pending bills? So is there someone with a figure on how this 2 billion has moved?
Chair, we usually make every effort to pay every year, and provision are made every
year.
Thank you, Chair.
Not stories. We want to know that you are at 2.2 billion. Where are you? What progress have you made? Not through a narration, but by figures. We were at 2.2 billion. We have now settled 600 million or 1 billion or whatever the case is. This is the balance. And on this balance, this is our plan. Simple as that. If someone does not have that information, then I don't know what kind of enterprise you're running.
Chair,
Senator Chirarge.
Chair, I think we have left a very important issue, is this non-disclosure. I think you heard what the governor said, that he would take administrative action for this non-disclosure. But this is professional misconduct, Chair. And I request that this non-disclosure misleads us, because the financial statements of any entity discloses who they are. In fact, if there are no financial statements, you cannot know what is happening in an entity. So, Chair, even as the governor takes administrative action against the people who signed this financial statement and non-disclosure of account payables or the pending bills, we have always pronounced ourselves in ISPAC. Therefore, we must, because CPA Joshua Machakusi, how long have you been practicing as an accountant? Through the chair.
12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
Then you don't have an excuse. Chair, I request that we refer to ISPAC for necessary professional misconduct proceedings to be taken against, because we have taken a position, and I don't think it is only accountants. We have said in all professionals that commit such a serious professional misconduct should be handled as such. Chair, I yield.
Majakuzi, can you try to redeem yourself by giving us those numbers that we are asking for?
Well, Chair, it is true we had 2.2 billion pending bills, and the financial year 2024-2025, we budgeted 676, and out of the 2.2 billion, we paid 676. So I believe there's a balance of 1.6 billion. But more importantly, pending bills has been occasioned by revenue shortfall. That is our biggest challenge and our biggest undoing as a county.
What CC will tell us are the normal narrations about what makes pending bills to exist. But my question would be, even if there are revenue shortfalls, a tender that was given in 2018 of a classroom, and that classroom is done in that financial year 2017-2018, why is it not paid for in 2025? That is the question.
Well,
shortfall, yes.
Well,
but in the
I can confidently say that out of the 2.2 billion pending bills that the county owes suppliers and contractors in 2023-24 financial year, the county made some effort to budget 676 in 2024-25 financial year. And I can confirm that the same 676 million was paid, and there is a balance of 1.6. Why did the county not budget the whole amount? It's because of the issue of budget, but more importantly, the county tried its best to reduce pending bills by 676 million.
You know, if we had a list of the pending bills that were defrayed with 676 million, we would not be asking these questions. Because now the 676 could have paid pending bills for 23-24. But now for 17-18, 18-19, 19-20 are still existing. The principle is FIFO. First in, first out. Why aren't you using that principle?
Governor?
We accept that the issue of pending bill is a serious issue. And we will not go back into what occasioned that, because, you know, we've already said it. We want to emphasize that we made a provision for payment of pending bills of 676 million. We did the payment. We have now made another provision in this financial year's budget of 800 million. We want to commit that we will make the payment. We also want to reiterate that we will endeavor not to have more bills, pending bills accruing. Under the trajectory of, say, 676 million payment, 800 million coming on board, if we don't incur, which is our determination not to additional pending bills, we are in a trajectory to end the crisis of pending bills in Kajiado. Thank you, Chair.
But that will take 3 years. And remember, every year you are incurring additional bills on goods and services.
That's the commitment we have made.
It will take you 3 years to settle this 2.2 billion. Because 600 you are paid, 800 you are put in the budget, it leaves another 800.
It leaves another 400.
600.
Correct, 800. You are right. You are right, Chair.
So another 800.
800. Yes, we will
so
make
it will
commitment.
take 3 years to settle the historical, and yet there are also current that are piling up.
We are instituting, financial discipline to ensure that we don't incur additional pending bills, Chairman. That is the commitment I made. That is the determination we have as a county government, that we will strive to, appropriately budget for the correct on-source revenue, because our overestimation of on-source revenue, as earlier on said, has been causing these problems. So while we agree that our potential is bigger, we want to budget according to the history of what we've been able to achieve in the previous years.
Chair, for last one for me, are you able to disaggregate these pending bills into staff payables or statutory reductions and pending bills for projects? Are you able to give that difference? The two,
actually, that's an extremely important disclosure that is required, because we also want to see whether there are statutory remittances that are still sitting on this pending bills register. Do you have such that are outstanding? Statutory remittances?
We do have, and we can easily disaggregate to, separate the two.
I thought you have numbers. You have CECs here.
What is the
you
number?
must be having those figures.
Let me ask the CC to give us the exact figures.
Yeah, because, Governor, you must demand some things from your team. Because it makes you look bad that you are verifying pending bills in CAD during your tenure. If this was in I think you got to the count in
2017.
If this was in 2017, it would be understandable. But 5-6 years into your tenure means there's something that is not, you are either not asking the questions, or your people are running rings around you, or you're running the rings with them.
I had given my commitment to institute the necessary administrative action to correct that. But let me ask the CC to give us the exact figures of statutory reductions vis-a-vis the other pending bills.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Chair. On the pending bill, yes, it is segregated into pending bills for development, pending bills for recurrent, for supply of goods and services, and we have pending bills accrued as a result of statutory obligations that we have, and some date back to the defunct local authorities. That updated reports we can commit to submit.
But what did you carry when you were coming to the Senate? Surely, did you have some data? I thought the entire cabinet is here, all the key decision makers are here, that if you are to ask you how much do you owe, for example, lab trust or lab fund, it should be somewhere. In other financial statements, it is usually disclosed, and that's why we're asking. In other counties, it is so easy to tell that KRA, we owe this amount. Lab trust, lab fund, we owe this amount. We are asking these questions because of non-disclosure. You are saying you have disclosed. So why don't you give us the numbers instead of the story?
Chair, we continuously also pay these bills.
So at now, because yes. I don't think you paid the bills this morning. As at yesterday, how much are you owing statutory bodies like KRA, like pension funds, like staff circles, like those other mandatory remittances?
And you know the audit is going on, so really, by June 30th, 2025, you must have declared something. What did you declare? And no pending bills must make you have sleepless nights, unless you are saying it's just something ordinary.
Who would have this information if it's not the governor, the CEC, the chief officer, and all these clever people in this room? Who is that person who keeps, because in terms of custody of financial records, the PFM Act assigns that responsibility to this CEC. So we cannot ask that question and live here without an answer.
Chair, I commit to share the updated reports to the Senate right after this session.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis if it's not making sure that the liabilities of the county are properly documented?
Chair,
see, we must run counties like professional commercial entities. You know, Governor, you have run a ministry. You have sat in cabinet, one of the most important positions in the national executive. If you were to ask your staff, how much does Kajiado owe KRA? Would you accept this story? Because you don't know, he does not know. So who knows? Who should know?
Yeah, we know. You know, it's been moving, you know, like it keeps changing because we have been paying quite consistently. And so we are saying to get the precision of the matter, please allow us to provide those figures. But we have worked consistently to reduce the figures, Chairman.
You see, it's difficult to then accept your submission because the Auditor General says you didn't disclose, but now you are saying the non-disclosure has been rectified. So when you ask you for the details of the disclosure, you don't have. You are still saying you want to go back and do it. This is not professional at all. And I know you are the CEO, but there are people you have mandated to be custodian of assets and liabilities of the county. They are not doing a good job. Maybe you cannot give them the Riot Act, but we'll read the Riot Act on your behalf.
I will.
Yeah, because if you do not have visibility of the details of your pending bills, and even the statutory ones, which attract interest if they are not paid on time, why should the people of Kajiado pay interest on bills occasioned by internal negligence? Shouldn't you be concerned about that? Because you'll end up paying much more than you ought to have paid because you don't have that visibility. So I think, Governor, there's a systemic problem when it comes to pending bills. I think I've personally reached out to you and told you that someone has forwarded to me details of jobs that were done, but have not been paid for a long time. And my responsibility has been, I've shared with you and I've told you, if this is legitimate, please consider it. If it is not legitimate, please dismiss it, because the Senate cannot direct you to pay something illegitimate. So when the public starts approaching individual members of parliament for help, it means that something is broken within the system. So please don't leave office, because definitely you are leaving office in the next 2 years. I don't know whether you'll be sitting where I'm sitting, but don't leave office without addressing the issue of pending bills.
Completely agree with you, Chair, and it is a commitment that I'm giving that I will take the necessary administrative action, and we will pay pending bills to which the county or the Kenyans who provided the services.
Chair, I think you need to rule, because then the governor said they gave a payment plan to the control of budget. I think we need that copy so that can follow through.
Control of budget, did they forward a payment plan?
Chair can confirm that the county sent the payment plan and they are there according to the payment plan.
Now, OAG, a number of the issues in this report, when we did our earlier brief, we made a comment that the projects that have been highlighted here, in terms of materiality, they don't paint the right picture of state of affairs of Kajiado. And I think, Patrick, you had explained something about prior year issues. Maybe just go on record.
Thank you, Chairman. I did say that the matters which were in the previous year's report, especially on markets, have not been captured in this year's report. And we have given a commitment that in the next report, the matters on prior years will be properly enumerated so that we have a clear visibility on those issues. We don't lose sight of those issues.
And then again, coming back to your team, in terms of the requirements of the standards, you are required to attach an annexure showing how you have dealt with prior year issues. Auditor General, is that part of the template?
Yes, Chair, it is.
So are you able to demonstrate to us where the prior year matters are addressed in your financial statements? Because we are, without putting in prior year issues, then you lose that continuity. So it would appear you have here small projects, Baraka 6 Road of 9 million, Olkatetema Footbridge, Acacia Feeder Road of 3 million, Green Valley Parkview SDA Road of 8 million, and Kaimurunya Primary, of 4 million, small amounts, but there were other bigger things. Clerks, we had asked that you pull out some of the big projects from prior years. Did you get those reports?
Yes, Chair, we got for the financial year ended June 2022.
What were some of the issues that were there?
The listed projects were non-compliance with contract terms. The first project was the upgrade of the Kiserian Market roads, whose contract sum was 62,327,588. The next project was the upgrade of the Gachagua Police Road, whose contract sum was 57,378,472. The next project was the implementation of Ngabolo Ereti Road, whose contract sum was 21,556,036. And the next project was the stall project, which is construction of outpatient department at Emotoroki Dispensary.
Okay, so let me just stop you there. Sure. OAG, we have seen in other reports where you have a schedule of projects. And so in this year, you queried just a few projects, which cumulatively, I think when you did the maths, it was coming to 71 million. So 71 million, and yet acquisition of assets was 1 billion plus. We get a feeling as a Senate that by omitting acquisition of assets was 753 million. By omitting prior year issues, we are not getting a proper picture on lawfulness and effectiveness of project management in Kajiado. So I think we have agreed that in the current audit, you are going to make that more detailed.
Yes, sir. Yes, Chair. Actually, the Auditor General gave us that instruction that we must bring all prior year audit issues to the current audit so that there's an overview of all the issues that are still outstanding. So that is what you're going to do.
Okay, so, but to the entity, you have a responsibility also to attach that annexure, which again was not attached. So you didn't disclose your pending bills, you didn't attach the annexure on prior year matters.
Chair, we are well guided, and we will attach in the ongoing audit to make sure that we have dealt with, but also reported prior year issues.
Chairman Park at the County Assembly, I want to request that some of these things we have talked about, for example, pending bills, I want to request that the Assembly looks at the matter seriously, because I am sure they affect the people you represent and they affect service delivery. Even though you are still considering your report, I want to request that you put some strong emphasis on pending bills, put strong emphasis on revenue collection, and put strong emphasis on these projects that we have seen here. It is very difficult for the Senate sitting in Nairobi to say that Baraka 6 Road is okay without visiting it, or to say that Acacia Feeder Road is okay. But you are on the ground. You have the ability to do so. So let's share the responsibility. You as a primary overseer, you can deal with the small projects, and then the Senate can not just be quarreling with the governor, the Senate can also be a solution provider, like in the case of Magadi Soda. At least we have found some common ground where we can work together to unlock resources. So maybe, Chairman, I don't know whether you want to make your commitment on record on what you're going to do when you go back.
Yes, I can. Only that we request cooperation from the executive. Others we are ready to work for. And in fact, we are going to visit all the projects as usual. And we are ready to work with them and get a solution.
Okay. OAG, were you involved in preparation of the report that the Assembly is considering?
Yes, Chairman. We personally was there. We have held a 1-week report writing session with the Assembly, and we were properly able to support the County Assembly members in writing that report.
Okay.
In fact, it was our hope that that report have been tabled and discussed in the Assembly.
Because you would have just taken the recommendations, yes, and followed up.
Yes, Chairman. So, and Chairman, we have also advised them to do an inspection of project, because the assembly members really will be aware of projects being held in their wards. It becomes very easy for them now to be able to give an opinion on the status of those projects. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, so I think the other, so on projects, that's what we are directing. There were a few issues on legal expenses, OAG. Keep that in view, because you said that there was something that was still not addressed. Any other issue that we have not addressed, we will consider the written response. But since you are on the ground, I believe you have done your entry meeting.
Yes, Chair, we have.
So the audit is going on?
Yes.
So if there's anything that is in this report that is still not dealt with to your satisfaction, please include it within the scope of your current audit.
Yes, Chair.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Chair. I want to agree with your direction, Chair. And as a Senator of Kajiado, I think this is a learning session where the county needs to see where they have gaps, particularly on the issue of revenue, Chair. I still believe that there are some issues of gaps on system, their systems, particularly on the collection of revenue. And more importantly, I think it is also responsibility of this committee to make sure that the issue of Magadi has been brought to this committee in full, so that we are able to follow up to reduce the non-payment of revenue for the county. Chair, I want to also to support the issue of pending bills, that the county also needed to put more effort, particularly on where they are budgeting money. When you have budgeted 600 million for the financial year of 2023-2024, and the payment has been done of 600 million, then we should have a reduction of the pending bills. So, Chair, if by the time they come back again, we should see that reduction, because there is a payment of 600 and something million, so that we are able to ascertain exactly where we are. And now that we are also having the audit, the audit taking place in the county, then we need also to see the observation of the 800 million, because I think they have been budgeted for this financial year. So I think from the Auditor General, I think we need to see the 800 million that has been budgeted, so that we see the reduction of the pending bills. Chair, last but not least, the issue of projects. I believe that these projects, there are quite a number, and as what the Auditor General has done, they have just highlighted a few projects within this upper end of, within the Ngong, Kitengela area, but no projects. I'm not seeing many projects within the other side of the rural area. So I think with those few remarks, I would really want to see that the county also are trying. There is a small improvement in terms of even presentation of documentation, at least not like the other years. But I think you still have a lot of things to do. Otherwise, thank you, Chair.
On a light note, the other years, were you not the county secretary? you don't need to respond.
No, I'm talking about
that off the handset.
I'm talking about the other years when they are presenting the documentation.
Okay. Yeah. It was on a very light note. Governor, I think what your senator from Kajiado has done is to make his closing remarks. So make your closing remarks as well.
Chair and the committee members and the support agencies, I want to appreciate the guidance on this issue of pending bills, on-source revenue, and the commitment that you will also pick up the historical injustice on Magadi. We think it's a very big issue that should not be left, to the county to deal with it alone. I want to give my commitment that I'm seized of the urgency and the importance of the urgent action we need to do to address these matters. I give my commitment that this issue of pending bills is really given the consideration it deserves, and very importantly that we do our accounting reporting in an appropriate way. So I give those commitments to the committee chair. Asante sana.
Okay, so I think in closing, Governor, you have only 2 years to cement your legacy. And I hope that it bothers you what kind of legacy you will leave behind. It should not be a legacy of high pending bills, and it should not be a legacy of underperformance on revenue collection. But of course, even after 2 years, Kajiado County will continue to exist. So we don't have to make decisions for 2 years. We must make decisions that go to the future. And that's why we are committed that even this thing of Magadi, perhaps it is something worth visiting. Perhaps it's an inquiry that should be done in Magadi itself, rather than being done in the boardrooms of Nairobi. So we'll work with you to sort that out, because that is for the future generation. But for the 2 years that you have, with this kind of reporting, you might find yourself along the corridors of justice once you're out of office. So please impose high standards on your team. We would wish you to succeed, but your team must also play along, because you cannot be the only striker or the only player in a team. There's urgent need to professionalize particularly financial reporting, financial management, revenue management, because it has come out clearly that there are certain gaps. Administrative action is not limited to sacking. Administrative action could include training. It could include capacity building. So I'm not saying go back and sack your officers. I think you must first try and deal with issues of capacity. And if that does not work, then you can take action as a chief executive officer. But Kajiado is a county with immense wealth. From this conversation, I am convinced that Kajiado can sustain itself if it could optimize its own source revenue. And to the officers accompanying the governor, please remember that you'll also take personal responsibility, and also do not forget where you've got professional obligations. If you're an attorney, it's a regulated profession. Accountants is regulated, procurement, human resource. We will not just blame the governor. We will come for you, like we demonstrated earlier on with the reports of the receiver of revenue. So as you go home, it is not a personal witch hunt, and there's no personal vendetta. We are just trying to pursue professional excellence. And I think that this governor should be associated with professional excellence. I think it would be embarrassing that out of the 47 governors, we find that it is Governor Lenku that is not disclosing some things that everybody else is disclosing. So I think there's a lot of work to do for you to ensure that your remaining 2 years are spent on the right things, the right priorities. But I do pray, because your payment plan for pending bills will go all the way to the time when Seki is governor. So I don't know whether he wants to inherit those pending bills. Please make sure, please make sure you close this thing, because people are suffering, and it is this kind of things that make devolution look bad. Unless there is any other observation, we shall, this meeting shall adjourn, and we wish the delegation from Kajiado safe travel back home.
Thank you, sir.
Did we make a transition?
Yes, Chair, we did. The next meeting will be on Tuesday with the Kumara.
So we don't have a meeting on Monday?
Yes, Chair.
So the committee meets on Tuesday next week at 9:30.